What's up, weirdos? I'm Felicia and I like scary movies, and today we are finishing our Buffy series. I don't know why I chose this video to finish off the series, but I did. So here we go. We are doing the most emotional scenes in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm really just rude, right? If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, even if it made you cry a little, and leave a comment down below if any of these broke your heart. Okay. I'm gonna go in season order just because I think that makes the most sense. So the first one is season 2, episode 14, when Angel goes bad, and the episode called Innocence. After he has sex with Buffy for the first time, he loses his soul, he comes back and destroys her. That moment where she's like crying and she's like, was I bad? Like, it's just mortifying, like losing your virginity to the love of your life. And then he comes in and it's just like, nah, it wasn't that good. Meh. He crushes her on such a emotional level, and at this point she doesn't even know why he would be acting this way. She doesn't know about the losing the soul situation and the one true moment of happiness she gave him. It's just a lot. And when Buffy cries, I cry. Next, and the first few are in season 2. It's a very emotional season. So when Jenny Calendar dies, when Angel kills Jenny Calendar and then sets up a pathway to her corpse for Giles, it is just so brutal, and it really gives you a view into who Angelus is and how he gets off on not only destroying people physically but emotionally. It's just so horrible. And then Angel tortures Giles. It's just a lot. Okay, next up we have the end of season 2, Becoming Part 2, and this is when Buffy kills Angel. And the reason this is so hard is because Willow puts the soul back in his body at the last second, and Buffy then has to decide whether she is going to kill her boyfriend or not, who has now come back to her to save the world, and she does it because she has to. It's rough, and I think it's so crazy that Hell spit him back out. I'm just like, I don't really buy that, but I'm glad they did it because I wanted to see more Angel, but it was a little like weird. All right, let's move on to some more Angel drama in season 3. When he dumps her right before the prom. If you are a teenager, don't you dare dump a girl right before the prom. It's just not right. It's just not right. It's like dumping someone on their birthday. And not only does he do that, which is already horrible, but then he shows up to prom in a suit looking fabulous. He dances with her, he tries to make the night all magical, and then leaves without saying goodbye. It's like he doesn't even know how toxic his behavior is. It's crazy. All right, let's move on to season 4. Oof. When Willow catches Naked Oz and Naked Werewolf Girl together in that cage, and she drops the breakfast on the ground. That is too much. That is too much. Even worse than Buffy crying is Willow crying. Willow has such a sad crying face because she's such a sweet, innocent creature until season 6. But Oz breaking her heart like that and then leaving her, oh god, that was a lot of crying. And by the way, if you wanted to go back, that was Wild at Heart, the 6th episode in season 4. All right, next we have, and this cannot not be on the list because it is probably the most horrifying moment in Buffy history. That is season 5, The Body. This is when Buffy gets home to find her mom dead on the couch. The way that episode is filmed is so destroying because it really goes through the brain space of someone that is seeing something traumatic and shocking and is like not processing everything well because it's so insane. And like for all these like supernatural stuff to be happening on the show and then a real life mundane human death just feels so unsettling. And it's also really sad, by the way, when her mom has the brain tumor and she's like acting really differently and she's like yelling at Dawn and yelling at Buffy in these like nasty ways. Like that's very upsetting because that is not Joyce at all. So like we already had that going on, and then for her to die like that was just like, I mean, you guys know. If you know, you know. All right, next up we have season 5, the end of season 5, The Gift. And this is not necessarily the moment that Buffy sacrifices herself for Dawn and to save the world and jumps off that thing into the hell dimension. Sure. But the part that gets me is right after. When everybody down below sees Buffy's body and they realize she is dead, and you see the look on Willow's face, on Giles, and then you see Spike collapse to the ground. It is just... But I will say... I just rewatched that scene because I wanted to I wanted to get the quote right. And when Sarah Michelle Gellar is laid out there after she has fallen a lot of feet to the ground, she is very beautifully laid out without a scratch on her. She looks totally fine. She's just dead. So that was quite funny to notice this time. I was like, wow, she really looks very put together. But I did have to read this quote because it's just so good. And this is, I have a lot of favorite Buffy quotes, but this is up there. Dawn, the hardest thing in this world is to live in it. Be brave. Live. For me! It's good. My other favorite quotes, if you were curious, one is, I am the thing that monsters have nightmares about. That's good. The Anya speech after Joyce dies. The Spike speech that he gives Angel and Buffy in season 2, I think. He says, love isn't brains, children. It's blood. Blood screaming inside you to work its will. I may be love's bitch, but at least I'm man enough to admit it. That is good writing. There's so many more. I don't have time to do this. That's not what this video is. There's a lot of Buffy quotes. All right, next we have season 6, episode 8. When Tara and Willow break up. And I already mentioned this in one of my earlier videos because this is where Michelle Branch comes to the bronze and plays Goodbye to You, which is heart-wrenching. But there's also that moment where like Tara is packing up her stuff, Willow's crying in the bathroom, and then Tara comes like down the stairs and then Dawn like brushes by her because she can't believe she's leaving, and it's just upsetting all around. All right, and as you guys know, season 6, there's a lot of sadness. So we have a lot more season 6. Okay. Hell's bells. When Xander leaves Anya at the altar in front of all of her friends and family, there is just, it's like he proposed to her right before an apocalypse. Okay. And then after they didn't die, he wouldn't let anyone know they were engaged. So Anya had to pretend that they weren't. And then they planned the whole wedding and then he leaves her at the altar. Anya deserved better, and it's just too brutal to watch. All right, next up we of course have season 6, episode 19, Seeing Red, and that is where Tara is shot. We've already talked about that episode a bit, but this is just one of the most brutal things, similar to The Body, where it's like such a mundane human death that feels 10 times more horrifying than any supernatural death we've experienced on the show. It's just like a gunshot. Like, it's just so upsetting. Okay, and the last one from season 6 is the ending where Xander saves Willow. Once again, I've already talked about this a little bit, but the I love you zap, I love you zap, I love you zap, that will make me cry every single time, without fail. All right, now we have 2 from season 7. Season 7, episode 18. I believe it's called Dirty Girls, when the preacher Caleb pokes Xander's eye out. That scene is so horrifying because Buffy is the one that led them there when it probably wasn't a good idea. And the way Caleb so easily defeats them without a scratch on him is already upsetting. And then when he does that to Xander just because he feels like it and he enjoys doing it, it is just... God, it's awful. Okay, and the last one, and this is just kind of like overall, the last, I'll say, sequence of season 7, the final episode. And I have kind of 2 parts here. One, when Spike sacrifices himself and he has that last moment with Buffy where she says, "I love you," and he says, "No, you don't, but thanks for saying it." What is that? It's like game. I don't know what accent that was, but you know what I'm talking about. Their hands are on fire together. It's too much. And then just those final moments where they're just looking at a collapsed crater of Sunnydale, and they're just all standing there together, and it's like for most of them, of course, the Xander, Willow, Giles, and Buffy standing there, and that we've learned and known them since season 1, and that they are all got to make it to this point is just it's very emotional. It's very beautiful. And that's it, people. That is a wrap on my Buffy series. Thank you all so much, especially to those of you who don't watch Buffy, who have now seen me post a million of these videos in January. Thank you for sticking with me. But I really wanted to make this series because this show has always meant so much to me, and I didn't really know other people that watched it when I was growing up because I didn't watch it while it was on TV. I was already in high school when I discovered it. And so nobody my age was watching it. And so I didn't really have anyone to talk to about it. And I have found some people like as I've gotten older, but this was kind of my moment to like reach out up on the YouTube platform and be like, all the Buffy fans, do you guys want to come talk about it? So thank you all so much for doing that with me. I really appreciate it. I've had a great time. And next week, we're going to get back into reviewing some horror movies. I have a huge list. I feel so behind on horror movies right now. Like, I'm so behind. But I have a lot that I'm really excited to watch and review for you guys. So stay tuned for that. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below of which of these episodes made you cry the most. And also, I'm wearing some Girly Gore merch. This is the I Like Scary Movies t-shirt. It also comes in white, which I think I'm gonna order that one too, because I like this because it's like very subtle. It's like a secret that I like scary movies. And the white one's like very blunt. I like scary movies, so I don't know. I'm probably gonna order the other one too. All that's linked down below. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you watching and have a nice scream. Bye.